I hear Irish didn't make it to the bereaved.
Okay.
Huh?
What a nightmare.
Huh?
I spent the fucking day in Manchester Airport. You wouldn't believe it, the fog was too bad to land. And then they said, we're going to have to, we circled around for an hour and a half, and then they said, we're going to have to land because we're running out of fuel. And I said, where are you going to land? Manchester. Halfway back to Scotland. And then couldn't get down, so I had to sit there for the day. The flew us back then last night when I came back. What a waste of my day in my life.
Never underestimate how wrong you can be. And that's why I tell you in planning, when we spend an hour on time management, that if you have an appointment in before noon, you go the day before. And back many years ago, decades ago, when I was taking the bus and the trains across the country, buses break down, and I've slept at more bus stations, railroad stations, airports. I was flying from Boston to Washington, D.C. once, and I'm in the third row, right in front of the where they load on the plane. I wake up 2 hours later, plane's gone. I asked the lady, what the fuck happened? She says, you were asleep. I said, okay. She said, well, I'll make sure that you don't miss the next one. Something happened, her kid fell out of a fucking tree or something, she had to leave work. So the next one was there. I missed that fucking plane. So now, and back in those days, I wasn't as kind and gentle as I am now. So I was pretty pissed off. And so I missed the third plane, but the lady behind the counter was a Hispanic woman. She said, she gave me a voucher to stay at the Hilton So, but that's the most I've missed in one. I was so tired. I mean, I thought it was dreaming that the plane, like in the movie, the plane, But I used to be like a walking zombie. And then before I get to the meeting, I jump up and down, I go into the restroom of the building, I throw water on my face, slap my face, jump up and down, get blood into my face, and then go in and do my song and dance. And but I was just, you talk about sleep deprivation, but I knew it was a numbers game. And the effectiveness of my presentation, they didn't care that I had been traveling 22 days, no sleep, so I had to be good. Or actually, I had to be better than good. I had to be, as the young kids say, awesome. I'm not sure what that means. I'm not sure if that's not a life coach kind of bullshit. But I was. Now, I meant to ask you, Tan, where did you go to high school? Okay, so, but how come, that's not the closest high school to, no. He, as we said last night, is from the same neighborhood as I was in East LA, off of Stadium Way in Dodger Stadium. He's a couple, 3 blocks over, and you went to Doris Place, the same school that I dropped the aquarium out of the window on the guy. I couldn't believe it. And we had always said the Asians are moving all the Mexicans out. And I used to say he is Asian, but he said that now somebody's moved the Asians out. And so it was really cute to hear him talk about the same exact place that I came from as a kid. 30 or plus years difference in time. Then he told me that those houses cost, what, $400,000 or $500,000? No way! Those shitholes could cost $400,000 or $500,000. But that's why they say the average home in Southern California at poverty level is $500,000, 350,000 pounds. I mean, little shit boxes. And that's why I say even monkeys can make money in property. And we have a few in here. I mean, if you can't make money in property, you ought to kill yourself. That's a disclaimer, metaphorically speaking. Okay, I don't really mean it. I really do, but I mean, I don't really mean it. I took a look at the first draft of the disclaimer. Fuck, it's 2,100 words. They'll fall asleep reading the disclaimer before they can get to my site next year. They're going to have to really be motivated. I mean, well, now some will just flip through it and just sign. I mean, but if you're going to read it, now some of you spreadsheet son of a bitches, oh, you'll read it, and you'll write me the syntax is wrong, the spelling's wrong, the grammar is wrong, and that's why you're poor. Because in the real world, nobody gives a shit about that. You know, and you can't end a sentence with a preposition, and that's a dangling participle. Well, now they don't even teach structure of sentences anymore in school, so you probably don't even know what the fuck I'm doing. If any of you cunts on YouTube know what a dangling participle is, put a comment on YouTube. Dangling participle. And they don't teach that anymore. When I was first up here 30 years ago, and my kids were going to school here, they still taught it here. They still taught it here, the Scots. Which the education system is pretty good. I don't know if it is now. It used to be. The Scottish system any good? Yeah. 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 And you still don't have any of those guys. Okay. And what'd you see last night? Okay, we don't want to talk about that on YouTube, but we'll talk about it afterwards. Now we talked about the flywheel and the momentum, and that's the momentum started yesterday afternoon. And now we're going to be going Fast and Furious like the movies. I was saying Fast and Furious before there was a Fast and Furious 7 or whatever the movie is. If you can't keep up, you'll have all the information on the various templates. At least half of you during our private time have asked me, are we gonna cover this? Are we gonna cover that? Are we gonna do this? Are we gonna do that? And I said, answered it in two ways. One, some of the stuff we are going to cover, and two, you'll get all the material. So it's always interesting for me. Within the first few weeks, I can tell without even going back and looking at your CVs, resumes, who was a good student in the past. And I always like to check people that have 2, 3, 4 degrees because to see how they respond and how they follow up. But all the material is there. And as Dr. Joe said day before yesterday, even he hadn't gone back and looked at the 2,000 slides. And then he did go back and look at the 2,000 slides, and they were extremely helpful. But 2,000 PowerPoint slides is 2,000 PowerPoint slides. You can't just zip through them. And so that's why most of the kids don't go to them other than in desperation. Now, the mega packs that you're going to get, where is a gig a lot of information? A gig?
Yeah.
How many gigs are in those things?
I think between 4 and 8.
4 and 8 gigs you're going to get, and the it's not in chronological order. In other words, it's not step 1 to step 7. And the reason it's not in step 1 to step 7 is because I don't want you to be able to go to halfway through it, step 4, and find something. I want you to have to go through all the gigs so you have a feel for what's in there. And so it'll be a better learning experience instead of you just going to memorize one part. But there's a lot of information, and it's not in any order. The only thing that's in order is the stuff that's on. You've probably already seen that Dan Loke, one of my mentees, put on a site, which was the product that I had published in the 90s. That's the only thing is in order, and he put it in order. But all the other material, and that's probably 10 or 15% of all the material you're going to get. 10 or 15%. And as Dr. Joe said in his webinar yesterday or 2 days ago, he said that the newsletters are jewels. 100. How many newsletters do I have? Huh? 115. Yeah, newsletters, and a lot of great information. And other than the time and date when I'm talking about Clinton getting elected and reelected and things like that, which I'm using as an example, all the material is as germane as when I wrote it. Just the examples are because obviously Clinton just didn't get elected when I wrote it, or when I wrote about some of the other things that happened, the close election with Gore and Bush, etc. Okay, YouTube, we'll talk to you this afternoon.